Okay, so I did the community property, and as you can see, community property of addition and multiplication, you have to add or multiply. So the numbers are in the same, but they're in the different order. So same thing here. So 2 plus 3 equals 3 plus 2, and then 6 into 7 equals 7 into 6. So that's basically what I have.
Dimitri?
So I did the identity property, and for addition, if you add a number to 0, the result is the number itself. And for multiplication, if you multiply the number by 1, the result will still be the number itself. So if you do this adding to 0, this jellyfish number will stay the same. If you multiply this rocket by 1, the result is still the rocket there.
Okay, here. We got a couple seconds left. I did, don't show me, associative properties. The definition is that the both addition and multiplication can actually be done with two numbers at the time. The associative property of addition tells us that we can group numbers in a same anyway. For addition, I just did basketball plus football plus rubber ball, which I got a rubber ball plus football plus basketball. And same with the multiplication, 4 times 2, and then x, and then equals 4 times 2.
Associative property where you can switch the parentheses in addition or multiplication questions to get the same answer. So like in addition, you can do 5 plus 7, put parentheses around that plus 2, but that would equal the same answer as if you had 5 plus parentheses, 7 plus 2 plus parentheses.
There is no density property, and it means that you can use any number with 0 to make it the same number. Like for example, this bear has a wall plus box, that means 0, and they will equals the same thing.
Okay, so I'm doing commutative property, and that means that in commutative property is when you switch the numbers around, but in an addition or a multiplication problem, but the answer will still be the same. For example, 17 times 5 times 1, and if you switch around the numbers, it'll still equal 85.
So I did associative properties, and associative property is an equation that can be multiplied or added at the same time, and you could also change the parentheses wherever you want. And my example for addition is 5y plus 10y multiplied by 5y equals 10y, parentheses 5y plus 5y. And multiplication example is 5 times 7, parentheses 10y equals 10y, parentheses 5 times 7, and this is a visual.
Okay, so I did identity property of addition, and that's when you add any number by 0, you'll get the same number. And then I did identity property of multiplication, and that's when you multiply any number by 1 to get the same answer.
Right. I'm going to talk about identity of multiplication, and so by the multiplier 1 or etc., whatever is here is going to be the same as here. Or on the multiplier, if it's 2, 3, it'll be the same. Okay, so for addition, if you add something, it'll add as 1 or 2 or etc.
Okay, so I'm doing distributive property. So it's like multiplying the outside number by 1, like distributing, multiplying the inside numbers, and so here's like a foot, or a foot, and it's like multiplying by the soccer balls, because it's like kicking them and it goes, and then like you'll add up the goals, which is the sum, and then you'll get a win, which is your overall score.
So today I'm going to be talking about associative property, and basically for addition and multiplication you can change the parentheses and your answer will always be the same.
For my poster, I did an Untitled theme, and what I did was the community properties, and first I did the community property of addition. For the community property of addition, we can add the variables in any given order, and the same also goes for the community property of multiplication, meaning we can multiply the variables in any given order.
For my poster, I did identity property. For identity property of addition, it's adding a number to 0 to get the same number as itself. For multiplication, it's almost the same, except instead you're multiplying any number by 1 to get itself.
For associative property, you have to group any way like the answer is the same.
So I'm doing associative property, and associative property is basically if you change the parentheses, the answer will not change. So there is addition and multiplication, and addition and multiplication, and those are in my theme of Star Wars.
Mine says identity property, which is when you get like a random number and it added with 0, it will equal the same number. For example, Freddy Y plus Foxy equals Freddy Y.
I did the commutative property, and it shows that if you add or multiply numbers in any order, you'll still get the same results.
My name is Joe Kashtani, and I'm doing distributive property. And distributive property is an algebra property, which is used to multiply a single term and 2 or more terms inside a set of parentheses. So my example is 6 times 2 plus x, and your answer will be 12 plus 6x.
I did mine on associative property. An associative property is a property when you can switch the numbers around and still get the same answers. Oh yeah, and I did mine on food, because food tastes good.
I did mine on the identity property, and that states that any number that is added to 0 equals that number, and if you multiply any number by 1, it will equal the same number. For my example, I did fox plus 0 equals fox, and for multiplication, I did 2 owls times 1 equals 2 owls.
I did mine on distributive property, and that means multiplying the number on the outside by the number in the parentheses. So my example is 3 donuts x parentheses 2 donuts plus k equals 6 donuts x plus 3 donuts x k.
What? So for mine, I did commutative property, and it just says that for addition, you can add any number. You can add numbers in any order to get the same answer. Like for me, I did cat plus dog plus bunny is equal to bunny plus cat plus dog, and it's the same for multiplication.
I did the associative property, and that's basically when you could group numbers in any order using parentheses. My example is donut plus parentheses ice cream plus hamburger equals the same thing as parentheses donut plus ice cream plus hamburger is the same thing as multiplication.
The distributive property works when the problem involves addition or multiplication. It is used to multiply a single term and 2 or more terms inside a set of parentheses.
The commutative property says that we can add a number by another number and change the order of the numbers without changing the answer. And the same thing is for multiplication.
So I am doing the commutative property. So commutative property means in a summary, it means that if you change the order of the numbers, it's still gonna get the same answer. For example, pencil plus pen equals pen plus pencil, and 3 swords plus 2 ninja stars equals 2 ninja stars plus 3 books.
Okay, so I did the associative property, and it's basically having a problem and rearranging it, and you still get the answer. And then here's a picture that I drew of it.
Blooper.
Okay, ready?
Let's go.
So I did the distributive property, and it means that the
Distributive property, and in the distributive property, you multiply the term on the outside times each term in the inside. In this case, it's 3x times 4, which equals 12x, and 3x times y, which equals 3xy, and then on top you can see the flowers.
I'm doing commutative property. In commutative property of addition, you can add in any order. And then in commutative property of multiplication, you can add in any order as long as you get the same result. I used sodas, hamburgers, and fries from McDonald's.
And for addition, it tells us that we can add the numbers in any way to get the same answer. And for multiplication, it tells us that we can group any product and still get the same answer in any way.
So I did the identity property of multiplication and addition. This property states that any number added to 0 or multiplied by 1 is itself. For example, 9 plus 0 is 9, and 9 times 1 is 9. My visual is 1 baseball plus 0 is a baseball, and 1 baseball times 1 is a baseball.
Hello, my name is Celestin, and the group any way you like. The answer is the same.
Hello, my name is Itzel, and I'm talking about associative property. And basically for addition and multiplication, you can change the parentheses and your answer will always be the same.
Hi, my name is Evelyn, and I did identity property of addition and multiplication, and basically a number plus 0 equals that number.
I'm also doing identity property, and for identity property of addition, if you add any number to 0, it is itself. For the multiplication identity property, if you multiply any number by 1, you will get itself.
So I'm doing distributive property. It's when you multiply the outside number by the inside of the parentheses. So it's a shoe times a soccer ball, and a shoe times another soccer ball, and you get your goal, which is the sum of the two answers, and you add up the two soccer goals, which is the add up to the two sums, and you equal a win, which is the total answer.
I'm doing commutative property. Commutative property is when you multiply in any order of numbers. And in addition of commutative property is also adding numbers in any order.
So I did the associative property, and it's when you can add or multiply the same equation and you can still get the same sum. So I did pizza plus hamburger, and you can add french fries, and it creates the same sum as if you add pizza plus french fries and you add a hamburger. It equals the same sum, and you can basically add or multiply the same equation to get the same sum.
The property of multiplication and addition. The identity property states that any number added to 0 is itself. For example, 9 plus 0 equals 9. This also goes for multiplication, except you have to multiply it by 1, not 0. For example, 9 times 1 equals 9. More examples are baseball plus 0 equals baseball, or baseball times 1 equals baseball.
I'm doing commutative property. So in addition, you can do it in any order. As you can see, a soda and hamburger plus a fry, but you can also do a fry plus a soda and a hamburger. Now in multiplication, you can do it in any order as long as the result is the same. as you can see, soda and fry times hamburger, but it can also be hamburger and fries times a soda.
The distributive property. If a term is multiplied by a term in the parentheses, you need to distribute the multiplication of those terms inside. So the pink flower times the green flower times the purple flower plus the purple flower. The pink one times the green one plus the pink one times the purple one.
The rolling eyes emoji, and this one. And the star moon emoji, it comes out to star moon emoji times the rolling eye one plus the star moon emoji and times the other one.
I did the associative property of addition and multiplication. So the parentheses can be switched around. So if you do like the cupcake times the popsicle and the cupcake times the ice cream, it equals the ice cream and the cupcake in parentheses plus the popsicle. And the same thing for multiplication.
Okay, I'm doing the associative property, and the associative property is when you can group numbers in any way you want and still get the same answer. So if you have a pig times a cow times a giraffe, you can make it into a giraffe times a pig times a cow.
So I did the commutative property of addition and multiplication. This property shows that if you switch the numbers or factors around, you will still get the same answer. So if you have an apple and a pear and you switch it to a pear and an apple, you will still get the same answer.